Today we're going to be learning about solving inequalities, and you're going to find that the rules are very much the same as for solving equations. There's only one difference, and that difference is that when you multiply or divide by a negative, you flip, that's an F, you flip the inequality sign. Just add the word inequality to your notes, please. Okay. And we're going to talk more in a few minutes about why we need to flip the inequality sign when we multiply or divide by a negative. Okay, before we start, I want you to set up your paper like this. You're going to just cross off all of the examples in the first row. You're going to cross off the first two in the last row, and then you're going to make room for a check for each problem that we're going to do. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4 problems, and you need to have room to do a check for each problem. Okay. So the rules are the same as for solving equations. So this is a two-step equation. The first thing we need to do is subtract 8 from both sides. And we get 4x is greater than or equal to negative 16. Now we need to divide both sides by 4. The 4's cancel out, and we get x is greater than or equal to negative 4. So let's check our work and make sure that this is true. So if x is greater than or equal to negative 4, that means I need to pick a number that is either greater than or equal to negative 4. So something on the number line that's to the left of negative 4. Think of a number that's to the left of negative 4. Let's say negative 2. So let's plug negative 2 into our equation. 4 times negative 2 plus 8 is greater than or equal to negative 8. 4 times negative 2 is negative 8. Plus 8 is greater than or equal to negative 8. Negative 8 plus 8 is 0, so we get 0 is greater than or equal to negative 8. Is that true? Is 0 greater than negative 8? Yes, that is correct. Okay, let's do number 5. Again, we have a two-step equation. Our first step is going to be to subtract 6 on both sides. So when we subtract 6, we get negative 2x is less than negative 10. Okay, now I want you to stop writing for a minute here, and let's just work through the problem one way and see if it works, and then we'll go back and work it another way. So the next step would be to divide both sides by negative 2. Remember that if we have a negative number in front of a variable, we have to divide by a negative. If we don't, we will end up with a negative x instead of an x. Okay, so the negative 2's cancel out, and we get x is less than 5. So let's check our work. Pick a number less than 5. 1 is less than 5. So let's plug in 1. I'll move my check over just a little bit. Okay, so 1 is less than 5. So let's plug in 1 for x. 6 minus 2 times 1 is less than negative 4. 2 times 1 is 2. 6 minus 2 is less than negative 4. 6 minus 2 is 4. 4 is less than negative 4. Is that true? No, it's not. 4 is actually greater than negative 4. So if our solution doesn't work when we check it, it means we must have a mistake somewhere in our equation. Let's go back up to our notes. It says the only difference between solving equations and solving inequalities is that when you multiply or divide by a negative, you have to flip the inequality sign. So let's look at our second step here. We divided by a negative number. So when we did that, in our next step, we should have flipped the inequality sign from a less than to a greater than. So then that would mean that our answer was x is greater than 5. So now let's try a number greater than 5 in our check and see if that works. So 6 is greater than 5. 6 minus 12 is less than negative 4. 6 minus 12 is negative 6. Negative 6 is less than negative 4. That is true because negative 6 is to the left of negative 4. Okay, so let's do our next example. We have negative x plus 1 is less than or equal to 25. First step, subtract 1 from both sides. So that gives us negative x is less than or equal to 24. We are not finished yet. How do we know that we're not finished yet? Well, there's a negative sign in front of the x. So this means that there's a negative 1 in front of the x. So we need to divide both sides by negative 1. And what do we need? Since we're dividing by negative 1, we immediately need to flip the inequality because we are dividing by a negative number. So we get x is greater than negative 24. So let's check our answer. We need a number greater than negative 24, and it can be any number greater than negative 24. So let's say 0. 0 is greater than negative 24. Well, let's pick a different number. Let's pick 2. 2 is greater than negative 24. So negative 2 plus 1 is less than or equal to 25. So negative 2 plus 1 is less than or equal to 25. Negative 2 plus 1 is negative 1. Is negative 1 less than or equal to 25? Yes, it is. Okay, so let's go back and fill in our solutions. Why is this word solutions plural here? When we were solving equations, there was only one solution. There was only one number that could make the equation true, except in the case of all real numbers. Okay, but there was only one number that could make the equation true. Now, in solving inequalities, there are many numbers that make the equation true. So any number greater than or equal to negative 4 will make this inequality true. And this is called the solution set. All of the numbers that are greater than or equal to negative 4 are in the solution set of this inequality. In number 5, all of the numbers greater than 5 are in the solution set. In number 6, all of the numbers greater than 24 are in the solution set. Okay, let's go to our last example. So we're going to have to start with distributing on the right side. So 2n plus 16. On the left side of the equation, we can go ahead and combine our like terms. 4n plus 1n is 5n. Bring down the minus 5. Now we need to get variables to the same side of the equation. So we will subtract 2n from both sides. That gives us 3n minus 5 is greater than 16. Now we add 5 to both sides, and we get 3n is greater than 21. Divide both sides by 3, and our solution is n is greater than 7. So let's go over here and check our work. What's a number that's greater than 7? Well, 10 is greater than 7. So let's plug in 10 everywhere that we see an n. So 4 times 10 minus 5 plus 10 is greater than 2 times 10 plus 8. So now we use order of operations to simplify. Multiplication first. 4 times 10 is 40. On the right side, we do parentheses first. 10 plus 8 is 18. Now back to the left side, just subtract straight across. We're just going to do our addition and subtraction straight across from left to right. 40 minus 5 is 35. 2 times 18, 36. 35 plus 10 is 45. 45 is greater than 36. And that is correct. So that means that any number greater than 7 can be a solution to the equation or inequality. Now notice here, oops. Notice here that 7 is not included in the solution set because the inequality does not say equal to 7, it says only greater than 7. So let's try 7 in our check and see what happens. So everywhere we see an n, we're going to replace a 7. Is greater than 2 times 7 plus 8. Order of operations, 4 times 7, 28. 7 plus 8, 15. 28 minus 5, 23. 2 times 15, 30. 23 plus 7, 30. So now we get the same number on both sides. When we were solving equations, that meant it was true. But let's read what this says. 30 is greater than 30. Can a number be greater than itself? No. So this is false. So you can see how 7 is not a part of the solution set. Okay? So any number greater than 7 is part of the solution set, but not 7 itself.